Welcome in what will be a wild Wednesday. I can guarantee you that. We got the house full. Dennis Philippi here, Joe Dank here, and Johnny Lyon, Greg Hines, Mickey Barker. They're all standing by. We make our final golf picks of the year. I was really surprised yesterday when I heard of the news of Dolly Parton and the reaction that I felt inside. I heard a national newscast report that likened this news and the feeling that it provided to so many people to the same sort of empathetic response that people got when Elvis Presley died. And I started thinking, although Elvis died at 42 and Dolly lived to 80, there was similarities. They were both very unique in their own way. They both came from small towns. They both supported incredibly philanthropically the way that they gave back to their hometowns. And they will, as far as I know, be remembered forever. Look at Graceland, still amongst one of the top tourist attractions in America almost 50 years after Elvis passed. And Dolly's many different places. She got a museum in the hotel she built in Nashville. She's got Dolly World in Pigeon Forge. She built an amusement park in the middle of nowhere to support her hometown. I mean, incredible. But I also think here's the one thing she did that maybe Elvis did not do. She might have been a more savvy business person than Elvis. He relied on the Colonel. But her longest-lasting legacy, besides all the hits, I think she had 45 albums. I can't even remember how many they sold. Crazy. But her legacy might end up being how she was responsible for teaching millions of children how to read. My grandson in Nashville is part of the book club that Dolly put together. Any kid in America could get free books from Dolly.
Imagination Library.
Imagination
And you know
Library.
where they produced that?
No.
Right here in Memphis, Tennessee, Porter Leith.
Is that right? Porter Leith did that?
Absolutely.
That's a great story. So I was really touched by the loss of Dolly. It in fact, because I'm not like the biggest country fan, or even, I mean, I like some of her songs. I'd sing along with a couple of those songs, 9 to 5 and all that. But It reached me because, we saw this woman, and then the other likeness was she became as famous for her movies. Steel Magnolias, 9 to 5, I mean, those were big parts, just like Elvis did, because Elvis made a ton in Hollywood. So thoughts, prayers with the Parton family, that is for sure. Tough day yesterday, NFL for Tiger fans. Calvin Austin, who's just the nicest kid in the world. If you ever met him, you can't help but like Calvin Austin, who gets a great second chance. He was oft injured in Pittsburgh. They kind of gave up on him. He goes to New York. He's going to be the starting slot receiver over Odell Beckham. That's how good he was having a performance in camp. He was doing great. One misstep, these non-contact injuries, when you have a non-contact injury and you go down in pain, forget it. You're done for the year. That's exactly what happened to Calvin Austin, and I really feel sorry for him. The Cubs set a record, even though they lost yesterday, blew a 4-0 lead. But the Cubs scored 30 unanswered runs over 3 straight games. That breaks their franchise record that was set in 69. I think it's really perfect that they lost the game, because the most heartbreak I've ever had in sport was probably the 69 Cubs blowing it, one of my all-time favorite teams. And so here they go. They break the record of the 69 Cubs and lose the game. Up 4-0. Drives me crazy. The SEC joined the Big Ten. Pros not coming back. Boy, poor LSU, because the SEC went a step further than the Big Ten in this, and Joe Dank, I know, is going to talk about it. The Big Ten said nobody who signed in pro football can come back. The SEC said nobody who signed in pro football or pro basketball can come back, which means the player of the year in the Big East that was going to LSU after signing multiple contracts in the NBA, Will Wade will not be able to get him. And I thought it was interesting. You know, they always say the vote was 16-0, unanimous. There's such great feeling. That's a bunch of malarkey. There's definitely rarely 16-0 votes, but Greg Sankey makes sure in the end it's 16-0, so they're all on the same page, and I would bet you that was the case. And then one last thing before we bring in our good friend, Dennis Philippi. J.J. Ganazzo, if you don't know him, he's one of the sports characters in all of Memphis. He's been on the stat crews from everybody for years, headed the stat crew for Memphis, for the Grizzlies when they first came here. But mainly, he's always been the scorekeeper for the Memphis baseball team, whether it was the Chicks or the Blues or whatever. Ganazzo was in the press box as the official scorer. Yeah, I think it was yesterday or the day before, whenever it was. I just got the news today. Ganazzo completed his 55th year as the scorekeeper for the American Legion World Series. He has scored 802 consecutive games. 802 consecutive games, both the 55 American Legion World Series and the 802 consecutive games are records in the history of American Legion baseball. Congratulations to John Ganazzo, who also helps with the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. So I look forward to that event, which is coming up September the 16th at the Renaissance Convention Center. In the meantime, we are about to hear from our good friend. That would be Dennis Philippi. Dennis is brought to you by the good folks at Dinstall's. And, you know, when football comes, that's always great news, right? But there's some sad news here, too, because when football comes, that's the end of things. For instance, it's the last summer Sizzler special, and Becky, because she knows this is my fave, Becky says the last summer Sizzler special of this year will be Cashew Crunch. So stock up for all the games this weekend. If you're going outside to a high school football game, here's the great thing about Cashew Crunch nobody realizes: it doesn't melt. You never have to worry about it melting. Also, this is really sad, the last dipping of chocolate-covered strawberries. This is it. You know, she only uses the fresh strawberries. So when those things go away, so does the chocolate-covered strawberries. They don't buy some and store them or anything. No, these are always fresh. No more chocolate-covered strawberries after this week. Get them while you can. This is it. This week only. Chocolate-covered strawberries and the Sizzler Summer Special. That's going to be Cashew Crunch. All 5 locations have them. That is Pleasant View, where they make them. My neck of the woods, Laurelwood, and the Burbs, Collierville and Germantown. And, of course, the one downtown that is really just a cool little store. Go and check it out.
It's time for Dennis on Dave. Dennis on Dave. Dennis on Dave. Welcome to Dennis on Dave.
Welcome, Dennis.
Driving in, listening to Greg and Eli, and they're talking about the whole thing with LSU not being able to get these pros to come play, and Eli was so careful to not just straight up say Lane Kiffin will cheat in any way he can figure out how to.
Great example of that. Did you see what happened after he left to go to LSU? And they were getting ready to prepare for their playoff games. They actually brought the FBI in.
Yeah, to check for bugs.
To check for bugs.
That Lane Kiffin might have left behind listening devices.
Exactly.
But honestly, would you put it past him? But I mean, it was just funny. Eli was like, he'll do whatever it takes to improve his team's chances. Just say he cheats. We all know it. Their basketball coach cheats. LSU may be the filthiest program in college sports right now. And one of the dirtiest since like the Tarkanian UNLV team.
Well, Will Wade's really got problems if the SEC stays staunch with this, and I believe they will. He does not have a full roster, and he's trying to get these guys that were pros in Europe. And some of that is they start being pros at 14. They don't go to college. They don't go to high school. So I don't know how he's going to fill his roster. It'll be interesting to see what happens with LSU basketball this year.
But here's the weird thing. I don't actually have much of an objection of guys going from the pros back to college. If they have eligibility, it doesn't particularly bother me, because at this point, it's all professional sports. So it doesn't make any difference.
It kind of bothers me that you can make more money as a secondary player in college than you can as a pro.
Kind of bothers you? I mean, it bothers all of us, and it bothers all of us a lot. But the barn's already open. There's nothing we can do about it. They're not going to change it. But it stinks. And we, people who talk about sports, hate that college sports have become professional sports. But, well, this is the world that we live in. You were talking about Dolly Parton. I thought Dolly dying was more along the lines of when Mr. Rogers died. It's like, I mean, just somebody so beloved. And there's a lot of charities that are probably going to be getting pretty big checks in the not too distant future, because I guarantee you she's just going to give away the house. I mean, on her passing, it's just going to be give it all away.
Well, she did not have children, but she did have a nephew that was the one that delivered the news.
She gave away 250 million books.
Wow.
250 million.
That's hard to fathom.
All right, moving on to sports. The Brewers, of course, are having a spectacular season. They just reached the 81 win mark. They have the front runner for the Cy Young and pitcher Jacob Mizorowski, who is 13-5 with a 1.68 ERA. He pitched a gem of a game against Atlanta. It was a great pitched battle. The Brewers are just killing it. Mizorowski walks into the press conference. There's 3 guys there. There's 3 reporters for it. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He blurted out, "This is it?" And then he was informed that the Packers were playing their second meaningless preseason game of the year, and that's where all the reporters were. So, I mean, if you want to talk about just the fact that football is driving the sports bus,
No doubt.
second, and this is, of course, that we've now talked about this will be the 3rd year. The second week of preseason. The same hand-wringing every year about guys getting hurt in preseason games. And it's never going to change.
Well, the Calvin Austin injury.
Horrible.
That wasn't even a
preseason game.
That was non-contact.
No, that's camp. And in camp. Guys get hurt in camp. Guys get hurt in preseason games. But the owners don't care, because they're not paying these players for preseason games. This is free money for the owners, and they're going to keep doing it, and they're going to keep getting players hurt. Patrick Mahomes got hurt. They're going to keep right on doing it because they don't care.
Well, they'll end up going to 2 exhibition games because you do need them. And then it'll be, what is it? We're 17. That'll be 18
regular season games. Yeah. So in the World Humanoid Robot Games.
That's the craziest stuff.
Did you see this?
Yeah.
This is so great. Yeah, they actually had this. We're not making this up. This is the World Humanoid Robot Games. They're exactly what it sounds like. They're humanoid robots. And they were doing track and field events, one of which did actually break Usain Bolt's record for the 100-meter dash, and then promptly ran into a wall because it could accelerate really well. Deceleration,
not so good.
They haven't really gotten a handle on it. Ran into a foam wall, staggered backwards about 8 steps, fell on its head, and burst into flames. Now, I could say this is a cautionary tale about, technology, but the truth is, just look it up because it's hilarious.
I did not see it burst into flames. I saw it hit the wall.
It's midsection. It's hips. Sparks flying out of its midsection. Speaking of midsection, I didn't even intend this transition, but here it is. I'm sure you've seen this footage as well. A high school football coach in California, Adam Brubaker, has been fired after being recorded kicking a football out of frustration directly into the groin of one of his players.
Oof.
It's tough to watch because I did not see that one. It was a missile, and the weird thing is he was angry because it was a practice. He was angry because one of his own players had kind of a dirty hit against another one of his own players, and he was so frustrated by it that he kicked a football right into one of his own players' fuse box, and he has been fired.
Rightfully so.
I don't know. Come on, man. He wasn't aiming for the kid. He certainly wasn't aiming for the kid's.
You got to be in control if you're the head coach, for goodness sake.
Okay, I agree with that. Don't have a whole lot left. Live golfer Harold Varner III, or I guess we can now say former live golfer since live golf is dead.
Probably.
He was at an Indiana golf course over the weekend with 5 of his buddies. Did you see this story?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a country club. He shows up with 5 of his buddies. He wants to play a 6. And they say, well, no, because there are other people playing golf. You could play in 2 threesomes. Mm-hmm. That's fine. So they said, okay, eventually. Now, I mean, he was really persistent. Over and over and over.
He asked like 5 times.
Yeah, he said, we come on, don't you again? He played the "Don't you know who I am" card, and said, and then they were, of course, like, well, no, we don't watch live golf either.
Yeah, if you were a PGA Tour player like you were,
there's a chance we might remember you, but a live golfer, no. So they supposedly they agree to play at 2 threesomes. They get to hole 4 where they're outside of the clubhouse. They start playing in the 6 again. They're confronted about it,
which he denied, by the way.
Well, exactly. They were confronted about it, and they said, no, we're playing in 2 threesomes.
We just watched the other
and
team.
And there were a whole bunch of witnesses who were like, no, we just watched all 6 of them tee off, all 6 of them putt, and so they were thrown out. But once again, live golfers, always a classy bunch.
Yeah.
And finally, of course, Jed York, the owner of the 49ers, arrested over the weekend in Ohio for soliciting a prostitute. York inherited the team and his fortune, of course, from his grandfather, Eddie DeBartolo.
Right.
Now, Eddie looked like a guy who would solicit a prostitute.
Well, no, Eddie looked like a guy who would run the prostitution ring.
Okay, I didn't want to actually straight up call him a pimp, but yes, that's what Eddie looked like. And Eddie, of course, Eddie he got into Jake with the man, I believe, about a tendency to not pay his taxes. I think was Eddie's problem.
Well, I think there were more questions about underworld ties with Eddie than there was anything else.
And it wasn't like he tried to play that down. I mean, he's the kind of guy who...
No.
Oh, yeah.
First of all...
He slicked his hair back and wore a pinky ring.
He was a great owner, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He brought in Bill Walsh. He had all those great teams. He wasn't shy about trying to pay the guys what they thought, like Montana and those guys. I mean, he was a heads-up guy. I don't know what it is about NFL owners.
What is wrong with these
Robert
people?
Kraft had to have a happy ending in a massage parlor.
Yeah, in
they're
a
worth
strip
billions, by the way.
Oh, and this has gotten so bad that the original trailer park. That's right. He was soliciting a prostitute.
Well, it was a sting. It's almost entrapment, to be honest.
$160, depending on who you believe, to solicit a prostitute in a trailer park. And it's gotten so bad, the one that was initially reported as the trailer park, East Palestine Trailer Park, felt compelled to issue a statement that they're not the kind of trailer park where you would find a prostitute. They had to issue a statement. They're a classy trailer park, Dave. They're a family trailer park. They're the kind of place you want to retire to, not the kind of place where you might stumble onto a hooker. It was a different trailer park. We're a nice trailer park.
I almost feel bad for you. First of all, he's not married. He's divorced. And, he's out of town. He's a lonely guy.
Get a guy. If you're a billionaire,
get an intermediary.
Get a guy. It's just like if you're a billionaire, don't drive.
Yeah.
Get a guy. What is wrong with these people?
Last thing.
It's like being a billionaire means nothing anymore in this country.
Last thing. Back to your robot blowing up. I saw this video. I think it was last night on NBC. And I never would have thought about this. Everybody's now getting these e-bikes. You paddle hard, you do whatever, and then when you get tired, you just flip the thing on and it goes. It's an electric battery. Well, this woman had just bought a used e-bike. She's charging the bike in her living room. I don't know why in her living room, but she's charging the bike in her living room. All of a sudden, you see a flash. She gets up and there's some smoke. And within 2 seconds of that smoke, the whole thing is like major in flames and burn the house down. So be careful with e-bikes. Don't bring them into your living room.
Why would you? I don't.
Why would you charge it in your?
Why would you charge it in your living room?
That's a good point.
That also reminds me of the thing. You see this advertised constantly on ESPN. The little cycle thing that you have under your desk that you
For the leg mobility.
Yeah, except you don't do anything. It runs itself. That's not exercise.
No. Well, that's like stretching almost.
That's not even stretching, Dave. It's just sitting. It's just sitting while a machine moves your feet. I don't know. I guess if you have circulation issues,
there you go.
Thing.
There you go.
All right. That's about it.
And that's it. All right, my friend. Thank you much. We sit here in the Family Leisure Studios, and I remind you because I got to think about Dog Days of Summer, right? It's really, truly happening, and it's hot. And they've still got some great deals like swimming pools as low as under $2,000 now. That's amazing. 50% off all your patio furniture. But here's the best part. If you go in there and you purchase something, they give you this dog bandana and a tennis ball. And if you take a picture with your pet and the bandana and the ball, they'll give you a $50 gift card. Dog Days of Summer with a lot of good deals. Just go to Family Leisure. We talk business and sports with the man. Joe Denk comes your way in just a minute.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The best clubs never stand still. Colonial Country Club has been an iconic part of Memphis golf for generations. And today, a multi-million-dollar reinvention is reshaping its future. Members enjoy championship golf and family-focused amenities, including pickleball, tennis, swimming, fitness, dining, and a vibrant club calendar. History matters. So does what comes next. Membership opportunities are now available. Visit thenewcolonial.com to learn how you can be a part of Colonial's next chapter.
Life is too short for boring cars, so it's time to run, not walk, to Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2026 Kia K4 LXS, $229 a month, $34.99 to its signing. 2027 Kia Seltos LX, $258 a month, $37.99 to its signing. 2026 Kia Sorento LX, $327 a month, and 2027 Kia Telluride S, only $449 a month, 24-month lease, $39.99 to its signing. And the all-new 2026 EV9 Land, $12,000 off MSRP or get 0% for 60 months. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Come see Bobby J and get your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
K4T 349,980, MSRP 24,825, Seltos V 5010936, MSRP 27,130, Sorento TG 455,570, MSRP 34,280, Telluride VGO 42,843, MSRP 44,420, EV9 TG 007645, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, must finance through KFA, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 8/31/26.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. The Mid-South just got hammered with heavy rains and heavy winds, leaving more than 130,000 people without power and plenty of homes with storm damage. Most damage goes unnoticed. Since the storm moved through, our Metro Builders crews have been out tarping roofs, stopping leaks, and helping property owners protect their homes from further damage. The hidden damage is the toughest, with small leaks putting water into attics that could turn into ceiling stains and, even worse, mold. For nearly 30 years, storm restoration has been what we do. We've completed thousands of roof repairs and restoration projects, and we know what to look for after a storm like this. Missing shingles, limbs on the roof, ceiling stains, or water getting inside? Don't wait for the next rain to find out how bad it is. Don't let them tell you your roof needs to be replaced when all it may need is a repair. We'll measure your roof from outer space and provide on-site estimates with options while on site. We'll inspect it, document the damage, explain your options, and help you get your property documented and protected. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. Or schedule online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Football opens up in Vegas, week 0. Joe Denk and I, truth be told, as we prep for the show, we talk every Wednesday morning. And we go over stuff, and Joe usually is the guy that provides some of the things he wants to talk about. And this year, he basically said to me, I think, Wolo, this could be the biggest year in the history of Memphis athletics. We've had different time periods. Memphis hadn't been to a bowl in 32 years. Finally, Tommy West was able to break through with that, and football became a much better entity, at least for a while. That run and the notoriety that Calipari brought the Tiger basketball program. This was after, the Tigers had the run in the 70s with Larry Finch and Ronnie Robinson and all of those guys. But this put Memphis back on the map again. Those were big. But, Joe, I guess your point is, in an era where the powers are separating themselves ever more so, and the Tigers have put the ante all in with the stadium renewal, the full revenue share. They're going, while we can, if there's a chance that we can get into a Power Four, we are all in, and this is the beginning of all in.
Yeah, look, I really agree. It's certainly the biggest in the category of those types of things you're talking about, and maybe to a certain extent, those big issues are off the field type issues, but they're going to be remarkably impacted by what occurs on the field. So the result is not only necessarily the biggest, but maybe the most important. We all know this college sports thing is really at a turning point. It's changing into something nobody envisioned. The question then becomes, does the University of Memphis stay connected to the highest level of college football? And that's increasingly challenging. So what have they done? First of all, they have been as open and honest again in the last several months, from the football coach to the athletic director, about how we are in pursuit of a spot in a P4 conference. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody wants to keep this in the administrative room and in the back.
The football coach said it at the conference media days.
With the commissioner standing next to him.
Right.
So, look, they've been open, they've been honest, and they've been forthright on it. So the stakes can't be higher, and it's all there. But it starts on Saturday night, and look, I mean, the program itself, you can almost say, is at a bit of a crossroads anyways. Silverfield won a lot of games, but I looked at this morning. In the last 5 seasons, he was 20-3 in non-conference and bowl games.
That's his total tenure as the head coach. Okay, so he was, repeat that,
20-3 non-conference and bowl games.
That's
in 5 seasons. But 22-18 in the conference.
So just over 500.
And in this conference, in those 5 seasons, it includes a 6th place finish and 2 7th place finishes. So you've got to be better in this conference. I believe you got to be better in any conference you're in to be considered good enough to go to the next level, don't you?
Yeah. Well, you think about those numbers that you just mentioned, and it did not hurt him because he got a job in the SEC. So Ryan Silverfield obviously was thought well enough that he could, with those numbers that you're mentioning within conference play, elevate himself to a different place.
Well, and look, sometimes in life it's really good to be the luckiest guy. And that is true. That may be the case in there. So the point is this: look, here they start this season now. This is the first season in a long time without a P4 opponent. There's not a P4 opponent next year scheduled right now that's listed on the schedule.
I thought Arkansas in Fayetteville was next year.
I thought that game was pushed back. I will tell you it was announced yesterday that Mississippi State has dropped Memphis for 28 and 29.
That's a home and home.
That's right. So with the Arkansas thing in some doubt, let's just say, or not able to know for sure right now, there's not a P4 team on the schedule going forward. So this is the way this looks. And so that's why they're so, I think, unabashed about it. Now, the start of this season can't be better for them. They're playing a week 0 game. There are only 8 FBS games on this Saturday. They're one of them. They're on a broadcast network. They're on Big Fox. Yeah. It's Saturday night at 9 o'clock. Fox, yeah. Nothing is going to be opposite it. There's a game on CW, which features Florida State, ironically. New Mexico State plays Florida State at 6 o'clock on the CW. So that game will be ending between 9 and 9:30. And then Fox has the entire football world to itself. And so Memphis is going to play its game on Big Fox, and they're going to. You can't have a better opportunity than have the only game on at that time to make a statement about who you are and where you're going with all of these changes. Not to mention, David, a big performance and a victory here would really build hype, interest, and hope going into the opener at the brand new stadium.
Well, I think because it's the brand new stadium with the new board and ribbon and sound system and everything else that goes into it, if they were to lose, I still think it would be an incredible crowd. But so that is a built-in good-sized crowd, no matter what, because it's the opening. But if they beat UNLV, that would make it even more special for sure. Since you've inferred this could be the biggest year in the history of Memphis sports, do you think it's only football? Do they have to excel in basketball, in women's basketball? Do the Olympic sports count at all? Is baseball important? Is soccer important, where Memphis men just beat North Carolina? The women are off to a disappointing start. They've lost 2 key players to injuries. But do you think now that they're a research institution, that they've gone up with the academic side of things, does that count at all in this whole big picture?
I think basketball counts a great deal. Basketball has to get back on track. You can't be. Look, last year they were 6th in football, 8th in basketball. Okay, they can't be 8th again. That's for sure. That has to turn into be, the one-off, the anomaly. You're not the any pattern there. The other stuff, I mean, I don't think those decisions, frankly, are made on any of those other issues and those other sports when it comes time to look at taking a new member into a conference. It's football drives the whole story, and basketball can break some ties, and you would hope that the program is in good order. The other thing is this is and what makes it so important for them too. A lot of people kind of thought the way the season ended last year that this is a make or break year for Penny, and so to say it's a break year. What does that future become without him? That's hard for anybody to imagine now, because he's just such a symbol. Of
there's no doubt
the whole
he's
thing.
A symbol as a player, as
Exactly.
a guy, as a philanthropist. Remember, he gave $1 million to start that Hall of Fame.
As a kid from Memphis who played in the NBA and is a potential Hall of Famer in ninth
year. I just saw this great video. I'm not sure if the U of M put it out or somebody put it out. I believe I saw it on Facebook, where it was him addressing the football team.
Yeah, I heard it this morning.
Talking about family and everything else. I mean, it was fantastic. Just fantastic. So it
by the way,
hard to imagine a world at the U of M without Penny Hardaway.
And that speech you're talking about, there is one person on the planet who can give that speech.
True. And it's him.
That's it.
All right. Big story yesterday. Lane Kiffin is talking about he's bringing DeQuan Wright and Xavier Harris back from the NFL. He was their coach at Ole Miss. He's got him in the transfer portal. They are coming to Baton Rouge. And the commissioner of the SEC said, no, we do not really want this sort of thing happening. And Lane Kiffin basically said, I don't care. We're doing it. As long as we're not breaking rules, we're bringing these guys, because somebody's going to take them. Might as well be us. And then the SEC yesterday, you voted unanimously. I question that, but that's the way they stand with solidarity. That is not happening. They are not bringing back any football players if they left school to pursue professional sport, and especially if they signed contracts. The basketball player was the Big East Player of the Year. He was supposed to come to Will Wade's team. He signed multiple NBA contracts. Now, by rule here, he's not able to come. Your thoughts on all of that? Well, let's start with Lane Kiffin, who had already heard the commissioner say, we are not going to encourage this kind of behavior. And he just basically said, I don't care.
Well, and so look, Kiffin's approach kind of is, I'm going to do it till they tell me I can't do it, and now they've told him he can't do it.
Right.
So it'll be interesting how how they react. But here's what I find interesting as this continues to evolve, and it's happened twice now. If you think about, go back to the Texas Tech situation, with the quarterback
Sorsby.
Texas Tech was all in on bringing him in, granting a second chance, and relying on the court order to allow him to play. Okay? Same situation here. There's a court order allowing this kid to play football at LSU. They seem to be okay with it, and they're going to go forward with it. Then, in the case of Texas Tech, it was the Big 12 Conference. Now, yesterday, it's the Southeast Conference who makes a rule and galvanizes against this. And in both cases, I mean, the Big 12 was really public about it, saying, we're not going to play you anymore. We're not going to play you in any sports. Their non-conference opponents came right out and said that. So now yesterday, the hint here is, if you break the SEC rule by allowing a player we consider to be ineligible play, we can do things like suspend the coach for half the season, fine the institution millions of dollars, and do lots of things because you're a member of the conference. So in the broadest sense, what I start to wonder is, the conference can apparently make eligibility rules and have means of enforcement, but all of these court cases arise out of eligibility rules that the NCAA
guidelines as opposed to conference guidelines.
Right. What is the difference? But what comes interesting is this, and in both cases, what it was is the members of the conference committed unanimously to oppose the player participation, right?
Right.
The only way it ever happens is when a member of the NCAA, which in a sense is not any different than the conference. These are associations.
The schools.
The rules are made up by the members, right?
Yeah, correct.
The NCAA enforces the rules that the members make up.
Correct.
The commissioners enforce the conference rules that the members make up. Greg Sankey doesn't dream this stuff up.
No.
Because the day Greg Sankey starts ruling in ways that the members don't like, he doesn't have a job. This isn't complicated, right? So people are comfortable apparently breaking with an NCAA rule, but they really run out of options fast when the conference says, well, we're not going to play you, we're going to fine you, and we're going to suspend you.
That's right now, but here's my question. What if Daquan Wright or R.J. Lewis, the kid from St. John's that was the Big East Player of the Year that had signed multiple NBA contracts, wants to go back to school because he can by court. What if they sue, not the NCAA, but if they sue the SEC? Same thing. And they get a court in Louisiana to go along with this. Then what happens?
Well, but so see, that's where what they're talking about is the remedy becomes penalizing the institution then that breaks the conference rule. You could be in compliance with a court order and you put the kid on your team, but now you broke the conference rule, and the sanction can be suspension and fine in the context of the conference.
I get that.
That's how you do it.
I get that as it is now. But what if those players sue the SEC directly and
then you have a
Greg
whole nother
Sankey?
round. Well, then you have a whole nother round of court. I mean, you know, and as long as we're going to sit around and let guys who don't, continue to make eligibility decisions about who can play college sports under what conditions, and it's being handled in a courtroom, then you just have a mess on your hands.
You do. You have a mess on your hands.
And we do have a mess.
No question. It's interesting. The SEC was the only one that came out and included basketball.
Right.
The Big Ten did not, at least as of yet. The ACC, we haven't really seen anything yet. So who knows?
But we expect to.
But what? Will that include basketball?
Well, it just remains to be seen, or are they taking it as it comes? I mean, I think there was certainly a sense of urgency and immediacy with football eligibility because the season starts in 3 days.
Right.
Maybe you got to get that cleaned up first.
All right. Finally, real quick, we got 2 minutes because we're going to also talk about this with the golf panel. your sense of the new PGA Championship format.
So look, the new format seems to make some sense. It's a 90-player full field tournament to determine the season long points champion, and it's going to be followed by 2 weeks of a seeded 32-man bracketed match play tournament, which could be kind of fun at two different sites.
It'd be real fun
over the thing. The other thing that came out yesterday, because all of this was announced in the press conference by the tour commissioner leading up to this week's end of season tournament, and that was that he talked about the tour championship schedule coming into play, coming into form for 2028 now. Right. 7 of those are established. He said more will come real soon, and then they are going to hold a televised event in February. On February 22nd, 2077, they're
after the Super Bowl, boys.
They are going to do a televised unveiling of the entire championship series. Now, the other interesting thing he said yesterday, and this comes potentially to affect us here because we've talked about this, what if any future is there for the FedEx St. Jude here, and is it going to end up being a Challenger Series? He said they are going to begin to confirm windows for those events and to have a significant number of those finalized by the Players' Championship early in 2027, with the rest of the Challenger Series being unveiled at next year's Tour Championship. So a year from now, it's going to be settled. So I found that interesting. Yeah. This is, and all of this is coming.
But the championship events will all be announced by
February. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch for sure. Thank you, Joe. As always, we appreciate it. Joe brought to you by Shell Done. You know, it has been hot outside right now. Those temperatures may be going down just a touch, but not the real estate market. So if your house, if it's been on the market the last 30 to 45 days and nothing's moving, something is wrong. What could be wrong? Well, the condition for one thing. Buyers today are really picky. Another could be the price in relation to the condition. In any event, consider getting another opinion on what you should do to kickstart your home into a positive gear so you can sell that puppy. I promise you, call Shell Dunn, my guy. You know, real estate agents call him for advice. He's been around for over 40 years. He works it like no one else. He's got a strategic marketing program that frankly gets you to the closing table quicker and for more money than anybody else can. Talk to him. He's really fun to talk to. That's 901-483-0546, or go to the website, memphisrelocate.com. Relocate is in the website, memphisrelocate.com, or 483-0546. You want to sell your home? Call Shell Dunn. We're back in a minute. The golf panel joins us final time this year. Coming your way in a moment.
Let Bryant Dacus and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon. Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme Cannabis, that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Huey's has been serving the Memphis community since 1970. In this local, family-owned restaurant, you'll find a casual setting and laid-back atmosphere, where entertainment includes writing on graffiti walls and listening to live music every Sunday. Huey's has been voted best burger in Memphis every year since 1984, and most kid-friendly for more than 30 years. With 10 locations across Memphis and North Mississippi, there's sure to be a Huey's close by. Huey's Restaurants, blues, brews, and burgers for over 55 years.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. 5 Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome back in. Final time this year. We get our guys together. Johnny Lyons, Mickey Barker. Unfortunately, Greg Hines just had something come up, and he is not going to be able to join us. I will let you know, last week I won the week because of Wyndham Clark. I ended up with almost $4 million. Johnny, who's just hot as could be, had 2.4. Vicky had a good week, 703,000. Greg was last, 412,000. Greg will go first in our picks, our final picks. He's got 19.7 million. It'd be tough for him to come back and win, although I think I'm not going to count the bonus that you get this week, just the earnings that they would get. Johnny leads the way, 25 million. I'm 2.5 million behind him with 22.6. Mickey, very close to 19 million, is at the bottom end, and then Greg would go second. So it'll go Mickey, Greg, myself, and Johnny. But we had a crazy Saturday with beautiful weather to start the day, and then storms hitting somewhere around 5 o'clock. I know, Mickey, the Fox Meadows Championship, and these picks and golf news brought to you by Memphis Public Golf, by the way. I know you had just finished your championship at Fox Meadows. I knew I had just finished playing at Pine Hill, and this thing hit, and both those courses were hit hard. Give us a status. I know Galloway lost a few trees too. Give us the status of the storm and the effect that it had on Memphis Public Golf. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Dave. Yeah, that was a tough storm late Saturday afternoon. All of our 18-hole courses got affected pretty heavily. Fox Meadows being the worst. We're still not able to open there safely.
Wow.
We're hoping that if we get enough work done today, that we could possibly get open tomorrow. But Galloway and Audubon have been able to stay, and Pine Hill have been able to stay open since Monday. Audubon and Galloway opened on Sunday. Pine Hill was able to get open on Monday. But, just a tough storm, and it puts our crews at a lot of work.
Can you assess, is there real damage to these golf courses, or is this just about clearing trees?
Yeah, just about clearing trees. No damage to the turf or anything like that. It's just removing trees and getting the debris away.
I will say this, the improvements you made, particularly at Galloway, where you put in a new irrigation system, purposely cut down many trees that had become decayed and old and were robbing greens, for instance, of moisture. That course is in maybe the best shape I've ever seen it.
The course has been in great shape at times throughout the last 25 years, but it really, really is good right now. The greens are fantastic. A lot of the trees that we took down, it was a good thing that we did, because a lot of them were decayed and probably would have come down Saturday night. So it was bad enough, but it could have been a lot worse.
Let's move to golf. Johnny Lyons, you saw the commissioner, or not really, he's not the commissioner yet. He will be, Brian Rolapp, the CEO at the moment, make the announcement of the new format. It'll be all the last 2 weeks, all match play. There's one regular season championship that used to be known as the BMW, which was the middle leg of the playoffs in past formats. What do you think of this new one?
Hey, Wolo. Yeah, I totally don't think this is going to work. Okay, you know, the PGA Championship used to be match play from 1916 to 1957, and with the invention of the television, they realized that match play wasn't going to work, and I don't think people are going to pay big bucks to travel to see 32 players. Just don't think it's going to work.
Well, you know, the Ryder Cup seems to work. That's match play as well, and I think they're going along those lines and to make it different from the regular season. I think it's got a chance. Mickey, your thoughts?
I kind of like it. It's something different. I'm not sure. I like the round robin form, the group play on the first week. Not sure how well you got a 14, 15 spots playing off on Sunday of the final weekend. I'm not sure how well that's going to go over. But I know they wanted as many players on the course during that championship match as possible. So all 16 players will be playing. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, they have to have that. Otherwise, there's too much downtime between shots. That's the problem that the TV has had with that kind of concept. And that's why the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup work, because you've got all these other guys that are all out there at the same time once this thing really begins. Last week, we were all pretty solid. The player of the year was Scottie Scheffler with his win in Memphis. Now, because we all mentioned Wyndham Clark would be second, Wyndham wins in dramatic fashion, blowing a 5-shot lead and coming back and winning by 3 over Rory and Patrick Cantlay, who ends up finishing second. He's got 3 wins, including a major. Scottie's got 2 wins, but a lot of top 4s, top 10s, really. Who's player of the year, Johnny?
I think it's going to have to come down to who wins this week. It's kind of a flip a coin between Scottie and Wyndham, in my opinion. But just one man's opinion.
No, I tend to think you're right. I don't know if it's what if they both finish like 5th? I don't know what you do here, but I think if one clearly has a better tournament than the other, that may have to come into account. Mickey, you're the final one on this.
Yeah, I kind of agree. If one of them, obviously, if one of the 2 of them win this week, they would be the player of the year. I think as much as I'm a Scheffler fan, I think his body of work over the years is better. But that, having 3 wins and a major, any other year, that would definitely be the player of the year.
No doubt.
I think Wyndham's kind of leading the way right now.
I kind of like the way Wyndham is embraced now, this Darth Vader kind of thing, too. He was really sorry that he did what he did last year. Nobody was embracing him, so now he's embracing not being embracing, and I think that's the only way you can do it. And it's kind of won me over, to be totally honest with you. All right, let's make some picks. Mickey, you get to go first. You still got a slight chance, I think, of if Johnny goes. Well, you can't go goose egg because there's only 30 people, but you can make it interesting.
Well, with the first pick, you cannot leave Scottie Scheffler on the board. So obviously, Scottie Scheffler.
Okay. Since Greg is not here, I'm going by the power index of Golf Digest and of PGAtour.com, excuse me, and that would be Wyndham. Clark is the first one. Scottie was second. Boy, that leaves me. Do I want to take a chance on Rory in the heat in Atlanta? I guess I will. I'm scared, but he's out there and he's got something to prove. And man, did he ever turn around the performance from Memphis to what he did in St. Louis? It was pretty impressive. I'll go Rory. Johnny?
Okay. Picking 4th, and leading this most of the year, it's been very difficult. But,
yeah, you're up big. My gosh. Yeah. I hope you don't break your arm patting yourself on the back, buddy.
No, I mean, I'd say got her up, pick it fourth, but, it's not much of a reward for being the winner.
Yeah. Are you going with got her up?
I am.
All right. Chris got her up. I want to see him put four together. That's the same problem with Oberg. They have one time they slip. Mickey, who you got next?
I'm going to go Colin Morikawa. I think he's playing well. He played well last week. A good shot at him.
Okay. I'm oh no, it's Greg, so I gotta go by what they say, Sam Burns, who I was about to take. I'll take Patrick Cantlay. That leaves you, Mr. Johnny.
I'm going to take your boy.
Oberg?
Oberg.
Oh, my God. Watch him win. He wins this, I'll be mad. All right.
Yeah.
That leaves Mickey's last pick of the year. Russell Henley plays well there in Georgia, so I'll take a Georgia guy.
Okay. That means Greg gets Tommy Fleetwood. Who do I want here? I don't know why I'm doing this, because he's really not had much of a year. I've seen some experts, though, pick him. So I'll go Xander, and I really do that with a lot of trepidation. So I'll go Xander Schauffele.
Okay, I could have bet money on that. But anyway, I will take the last pick of the year, Bobby Mack.
Bobby McIntyre?
Yep.
You're a brave guy. He quit in Memphis. It's hard for me to like him. But I do think he's a heck of a... He bounced a little bit like Rory did in St. Louis. So, Mickey, you got Scotty, Colin Morikawa, Russell Henley. Greg's got Wyndham Clark, Sam Burns, and Tommy Fleetwood. I've got Rory, Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele. Johnny's got Chris Gutterup, Ludwig Oberg, and Bobby McIntyre. Guys, I cannot thank you enough for participating all year long, and let's just do this again next year. What do you think?
Sounds great with me. Lots of fun.
Yep, sounds great. Looking forward to playing golf with all the guys on the pick.
Yeah, we're going to visit beautiful Audubon. I can't wait for it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Wolo.
Thank you, guys. All right.
A lot of fun.
Take care. That is Johnny Lyons. That is the czar of public golf. That would be Mickey Barker. They're all brought to you again by Memphis Public Links, and I really, this is the truth. Go check out one of the public courses. A few years ago, they decided golf is a major amenity. Great cities have major amenities, and they got Mickey Barker running this thing, and he's got them, in beautiful shape. They've done so many improvements. Public golf is at its peak. That'll do it for us. Tomorrow, usual culprits will be on hand. Johnny Radio's right around the corner, so don't go anywhere. Have a great day, everyone.